33 of 365 days of reflections. Today was a day of stress. Yes, I say that because I passed the stress test. I took a stress test today, y'all. Yeah, yeah, I never did that before, but I took a stress test today. That was a little later on in the day, but the day started with communion, which is the best part of waking up, is starting with communion, being at the table, getting my daily bread, getting a word from the Lord, thanking Him for Jesus, for His sacrifice, for what He did for us, and what He continues to do every day. And so I say I passed the stress test because literally I took a stress test, right, at the doctor's office where they attach the little probes and they take your blood pressure and they make you run on a treadmill. Well, I didn't really run, I just walked up a hill to get my heart rate going. And they inject some stuff in your vein. It's like some nuclear something that's not supposed to be harmful, but it's a little painful going in. So, yeah, did that. That was stressful. I said, this is more stressful than actual stress. But they do that to test your heart to see how it reacts under pressure and how it acts in its natural state. They take x-rays, so I never experienced that before. So the stress test, I passed it because they have a certain heart rate they want you to increase to. I passed it. I went past it because it was very uncomfortable. I didn't realize how uncomfortable it would be having an IV in one arm and having a blood pressure cup in the other and walking up a hill on a treadmill. Yeah, yeah. Not exactly what I imagined taking a stress test. I thought it would just be, casual walking and checking out my heart. I didn't realize that they were going to inject something in and then put me under an x-ray twice. So yeah, it was interesting. But all that is to see how my heart is doing when it's in its natural state and when it's in its elevated, stressed out state. So can't wait to see what the results are and find out how I really did according to the doctors. I'm believing that my heart is functioning just as God designed it to, whether it's stressed or not, right? That's my hope and my desire. And so that was really the climax of the day. That was like right in the middle of the day. And this morning is almost a blur because my mind just went there. It just like went there. So I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for my family, grateful for my businesses, grateful for opportunities to come and share my reflection of the day. I did read Proverbs 12 in the BSB version, and when I read it on another platform, I just showed the picture of the Bible as I read it. This time, I thought that would be a little different. I've been going consecutive days live as well on that platform. And so, in this particular verse, in this particular chapter of Proverbs, chapter 12, I love the first verse. So, 12 and 1, it says, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid, right? You can think of maybe yourself in that situation, maybe others. I think of myself when I don't like correction. I know that's not wise. So I listen to correction, especially when it comes from someone who I admire, someone who I look up to, a trusted friend, a trusted advisor. Sometimes discipline comes through those that maybe we don't care for. And that's where it takes wisdom to know and to discern whether or not it's something that should be adhered to or not. And so tonight, even though the day started with communion, it ended with daily Bible bread reading. And so I was able to get the last bit of that. I wasn't able to fully participate because of all the things going on around the house. But here's the other thing. Yeah, I was able to hear the passionate chapter, what was it? 1 Corinthians, I believe, was chapter 4 and 5. Pastor Mark wasn't able to get through it. He spends a bit of time breaking it down into practical steps that we could all, identify with. And right before that, I call myself preparing ahead with some meals, and I put some chicken in the oven, and I call myself basting it. And so I went in the refrigerator and got some chicken broth, some cold chicken broth. Now I don't even eat meat, but I was preparing this for the family, right? So I go to the kitchen and I get some cold broth, not using wisdom, and I open the oven. Now my meat, the chicken, I have wings and drumsticks, 2 different trays, and I take the cold broth and I begin to pour it to kind of calm myself, giving it some fluid because it was looking dry, kind of baste it. As soon as I poured it, the casserole, I had a glass tray, it shattered, and it was loud, and it went everywhere. I hadn't experienced that before. Now, looking back, I thought, okay, I've done this before, but no, I didn't get cold broth and put it on hot food in a glass dish. So I hadn't done that before. I usually would use a tin as some sort of pan, and there wouldn't be that sort of reaction. But yeah, I destroyed a glass casserole. Not only that, but I shattered it all in the oven, all outside the oven. It was everywhere. So that took quite a bit of time to clean up. But man, that was a lesson learned. And I'm thinking, okay, God, what did I learn from that? Well, in the physical, right, you can't take something. It reminded me of the wineskins, right? The Bible talks about you can't put new wine in old wineskins or they'll burst, right? So I learned you can't put cold broth on hot chicken or the dish will burst. So yeah, that was a lesson learned. And so I lost a lot of meat in the process. My husband's like, throw it away. And I'm like, well, maybe we can salvage it, rinse it out. Because the glass was underneath and the meat was on top. So I took the meat off and made sure there wasn't any glass. But he's right. He's right. There could be some little shards of glass in that meat. So probably wisdom says to throw it out. Now, wisdom hadn't caught up with me on that because I'm still kind of like, do I, don't I? So you tell me what your thoughts are. I'm not eating anyhow, but I definitely want to make sure my family's safe. I don't want to give them glass meat because one Thanksgiving I did make, here we go again, I did make a dish and something broke and went into the food. So I've had that happen before. I'm learning wisdom, Proverbs, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It comes to us all at one time or another. So peace and blessings to you all, and have a good night. What is this? This is Thursday night, and it's not too terribly late, but I am streaming horizontally, and I notice when I do this, I cannot see any activity, so I have to learn how to do this unless I flip it. I'm not sure, but I don't want to do that in the middle of a stream because then it goes haywire. So peace and blessings. Have a good night. Let's see how to turn you off. Okay, here you go. Bye.